did not see it. When the announcement came, my first reaction was, wow, MDC is not under the ministry's management. I think that is under FAM. You have seen how, sorry to say this, that our Scorchers is doing better than the Flames.
Yeah. Wa Ganyu exclusive is getting good and exciting in 2026 with very interesting guests trying to bring you everything that's coming out in the world of sports. You've heard from the soccer players, you've heard from people that are leading football clubs and different sports franchises in Malawi. But now we also get into the policy space. What changes or what progress are we going through, or are we looking at in the few years coming? And today we have the best of them all. Welcome on Wa Ganyu's exclusive, madam.
Thank you very much.
I mean, on behalf of Aganyuansi, from Monsanje Dujitiba, we want to, welcome you into this role.
Thank you.
How has it been?
Well, not bad, not bad. We've been off with a good start. First and foremost, I really wish to appreciate the people of Nankaka for trusting me with the parliamentary seat. And on a very special note, I also wish to convey my gratitude to the state president, Professor Peter Muntalika, for entrusting me with the portfolio. You will understand that youth, sports and culture touch millions and millions of Malawians. So entrusting me with this portfolio is not something that I take for granted, and I welcome it with both a sense of gratitude and sacrifice, and pledging my best to give my best to the service.
Did you expect this appointment?
Oh no, not at all. I did not see it coming, and when the announcement came, actually, I felt my first reaction was, wow, because I really did not see it coming. So when the announcement came, I felt really humbled, to recognize, to realize that the president can give me that vote of confidence on such a higher level. So it came as a surprise. I did not see it coming, but when it came, I felt challenged at the same time, realizing that I have to give my best to the nation, especially at this time where citizens' expectations are quite heightened because they're expecting the government to deliver.
Who is Honorable Patricia Wiskes? Maybe before the horn, but who is Patricia?
Thank you very much. So, I am a local girl, actually. I was born in Blantyre. I have been raised in Lilongwe. I did my secondary education. I did my primary education first in Area 49, Mkomachi Primary School. So you see, I didn't go to a high school.
Oh yeah,
so very traditional. Ghetto, full primary school. So from there, I went to do my secondary education at Nkamenya Girls Secondary School. I then transitioned to King's Foundation in Cheo. Then afterwards, I did my tertiary in Chancellor College. So I have a bachelor's in Communications and Cultural Studies from Chancellor College. So after the tertiary education, I proceeded to do an internship at Parliament, where I was offered substantive employment 3 years later. I resigned actually working at Parliament, so I could now focus full-time on politics.
What I said, so in working for Parliament, going like, oh wow, I think that's a big deal.
Not exactly. Not exactly. That's not when the inspiration came. If you follow my Facebook posts, I had been aspiring for quite some time, because I remember sometime earlier than 2017, which was before I was at Parliament.
Yeah.
I had already posted something about wanting to become a member of Parliament. Yes. So it's really something that has been in me for a long time, and I think with time, the passion, that need to want to represent people kept growing stronger and stronger, until finally in 2023 I said I really need to give this a shot. So I was at that point in time where I really needed to go on the ground. Otherwise, if I had not done that, I felt I was not doing justice to myself. So in 2023 I felt ready to say, All right.
Bring it on.
Do this, yes.
Brilliant. Congrats on that.
Thank you very much.
I mean, now that you've gotten into this space, in the sports space, what have you found? By sports, I'm looking at, all the disciplines.
Exactly, yeah. All right, so
What opportunities have you
it's
seen?
good that you've mentioned that by sports you mean all the disciplines, because sometimes when you say sports, people are thinking only football and then maybe netball, but there are many sports codes out there that we also have a responsibility to promote as a ministry. But when the appointment came, and I went to the ministry to report now for duties, I was not going there to establish a structure.
Yeah.
I joined a structure that was already there. There were a lot of technical experts there that had been in the ministry for quite a long time. So I joined an existing community, and I must say here that the reception has been warm and quite encouraging. I have had a lot of support from both the technical people at the ministry, from the stakeholders. So there's really been a lot of encouragement and support coming from all angles.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And I mean, for the Wa Ganyu, I mean, we speak football. How many football matches have you so far watched since you became minister?
Oh, quite a number. I make sure that each time I have an opportunity, I don't miss. So unless I'm really committed or I'm not in the district, but otherwise I'll make sure. I've even lost count already. But if you follow the papers, you will see that I've been to quite a lot of matches, and it's now become a thing for me, because previously, before the appointment, I used to love sports because a lot of people are into it. Yeah. But now the passion is growing strong, and each time at a match I feel like it's drawing me in. So for me at this point, it's best that I don't wear a jersey.
Come on.
Unless it's for a national team.
Okay.
It's better that way. It's less emotive, first of all, so it allows me enjoy the games, because so I think
from then you become Wa Ganyu.
Exactly. Yes.
It's the same thing with us. We say, Wa Ganyu Samaruza. So you go there and then you just blend in.
You just enjoy the game. As long as it's a good game, it's a good match. Yeah, that's what we want. We want to promote sports, and if a good game is in play, you sit down, relax, and enjoy it, and actually appreciate from the benches how football, how sports in general is progressing. You
and how it unites people.
The growth. Yes, that's what you're looking at more, other than getting on teams to see. No, I really want this team to win. So it's better actually. You enjoy football more when you don't pick a team at all.
Just a few weeks ago, I think the biggest news in the local league with FDH Bank stepping into bankroll the local league. Over 5 billion. How did you welcome that news?
Oh, we did welcome it with such appreciation and excitement, particularly recognizing that is the biggest support that the ministry or the sports industry has ever received from the corporate world. Yeah. And that is the direction that we want to go. For me, what that support says is that it's speaking to the confidence that people now have in our governance systems, because when sports governance is poor, investors withdraw. But when you have players coming on the market, pledging such huge amounts of money, putting it on the table, it shows the confidence that they are placing in the governance system. So we are really appreciative to FDH for entrusting us with the 5 billion support. We are hoping that it will improve a lot of things in the sports sector. We are not only talking about welfare of athletes, we are even talking about the athletes having access to loans for them to set up businesses for themselves. You'll understand that we've had scenarios as a country where when a player is out of the field, the welfare is not that good. Sad. So it's really exciting for us to say that finally we have players coming in to assist, to ensure that players' welfare, the athletes' welfare, is actually looked at beyond the pitch. Even after their career is over, they're still able to hold on to something and be able to survive, put something on the table on a daily basis. So it's quite encouraging. What we are looking forward as a ministry is that we'll get more companies, more players in the corporate sector to actually emulate that style. We need more support, and we need more than 5 billion support, because you'll understand that sports is huge.
Yeah.
We are only talking of football here, but there are various
There's
sports
lots of other
holdings.
disciplines
Yes, exactly.
that need
So
investment.
we want more athletes, more players to receive the same type of support and attention that football and netball gets in the country.
But the promise by the government has been to, really attract lots of, private investment. Are you hearing from?
Actually, that's one of the issues that we are also prioritizing as a ministry. We want to review our sports policy for Malawi. So one of the issues that we want to bring into the reviewed sports policy is such incentives to allow, say for instance, for tax waivers on importation of sports equipment. And moving forward, we also want to bring in more players in terms of management of stadiums. We want government to go into partnerships with other players to co-manage our sports facilities. So moving forward, we want to work more with what is called public-private partnerships.
PPPs.
Yes, exactly, in order to ensure that when it comes to sports, we're not only asking investors to come and give donations. We want them to begin to see sports as an economic activity. We want them to commercialize sports. So they can come out and say, no, I'll build this private sports facility, because we need more of those facilities. So moving forward, we're really looking forward to bringing more investors on board, for not them to just bring in the money, but for them to even realize profit in the process. So that's one thing that we really are looking forward to do as a government. But as you've said, we are still in the process of consultations. We need to sit down with various stakeholders in the industry to also see how they feel about it and how best we can proceed, because what we want by the end of the day is to promote public interest and sports management in Malawi.
One dozen bullets have been in the media saying, we've been contacting government to allow us co-manage. There's MDC Stadium, there's BAT, and maybe even Kambo Stadium. Has that already got into your entry?
No, not yet. I read about it in the papers, I read about it on social media, but formally my ministry has not received any communication to that effect. However, MDC is not under the ministry's management. I think that is under FAM. So it will be up to FAM. But in the event that these requests come to our desk, we will do consultations as well. There are guiding laws that we need to look at. So in the event that it comes, I think we'll deal with it when it comes. But at the moment, as we speak, that request has not yet reached the ministry. So it's a bit tricky for me to comment on it until it comes. Then we can continue this conversation.
That's true. During this rainy season, most of our stadiums now they're something else. Some of them are yet to be complete, so that they can be used. Is your government, or your ministry, thinking of completing some of these investments?
Exactly, yes. Actually, as government, as a ministry, the first thing that we're actually committing to is to complete every government project that was initiated. However, our priority at the moment is to ensure that we first focus on those that are at really advanced stages. So we want to work with those that are over 60-70% to ensure that we finish those. And the moment we have those finished, we will now look at what is next. But as government, as a ministry, as I can assure you that we are really committing to ensure that those projects are finished. The challenge that we have had is that those projects, most of them were decentralized, so now they fall under Ministry of Local Government. Yes, so we are actually in touch with the Ministry of Local Government to see it at a proper financing model that we can use to ensure that some finances have been set aside towards completion of those stadiums. But we are really committed to finishing all of those projects, whether they were started by this administration or the previous one, but we are committed to complete. So it's not about which administration started it, it's about ensuring that all government projects that were initiated are actually put on a payment plan. They're put on our budget to ensure that they are completed and those facilities are open to the public to use.
Should Bullets and Wonders fans also be happy about that?
Exactly, yes. They should be very, very excited, because once we finish these programs, these sporting facilities, it means it gives them more room, more options to access their facilities. So they really should be excited. There has been questions a lot coming from the media regarding whether government will actually release those facilities, yes, to Bullets and Wanderers. And my response has been that we are still consulting other stakeholders in terms of how best we can do that, because as you're aware, we have the Public Finance Management Act and other relevant laws that we need to look at. So we are still consulting on that issue. What I can guarantee you is that whatever decision we'll make at the end will be in the interest of the public and in the interest of promoting the development of sports in the country. So issues regarding to management of those facilities, whether government will lease or give them out, we're really looking into that, and they should expect that. We expect that by the end of the day we will reach a decision that will excite both the public, Bullets and Wanderers, everybody, because that's what we want to do by the end of the day. We are a people government. We are a listening government, so we'll look at what the people want and we'll make sure that we do something that is in their interest.
Together with Bullets and Wanderers, it's the two stadiums for them that were started by government.
Exactly.
And they stopped Chapakatipa. Mene kwa Madam Wiskes tuerengere kuti muna mipanda ina ambaija, they will complete our stadiums as well.
No, as I mentioned earlier, we are committing to really complete. It's important for us. For us as government, so we're really committing to complete those stadiums. Some of them did not completely stop, but perhaps the progress had been moving really at a snail's pace. I will tell you this, that the Sochi Stadium is at over 60% completion rate. It is the Zingwangwa Stadium that has really stalled, and mostly because the contractor had pulled out. But again, as I mentioned earlier, we are in consultation with the Ministry of Local Government to ensure that because they've now been decentralized, we want to ensure it is in our interest that those stadiums actually receive funding and begin to move forward as well. So we do not want, as a ministry, to have the start-stop type of approach to construction of stadia. So we want to really put in place a proper financing model that ensure that once we start, we put in more finances, we punch until we finish the facility, and then we hand it over and move to the next. So that's the approach that we really are sitting down with the Ministry of Local Government to see how best we can approach the scenario.
Recently you were in Rabat for the CAF finals. What is the feeling?
Oh, it was quite exciting. You should have seen me in the stadium. There was a point I would literally get off my seat to cheer. So yeah, it was quite...
you had the team?
Not exactly.
Okay.
Not exactly. But it was a good game. It was really a good game, and both teams demonstrated the expertise. It was quite a good game to watch, especially live. So there are a lot of lessons that I've drawn actually from Morocco, yes, to actually see the progress that Morocco has made in terms of sports development. And one of the key takeaways for me has been that for a country to achieve success in terms of sports development, it's more about long-term investment. So Morocco didn't start today. They've really taken time to invest in the sports sector, and today is when we are seeing the results. So one of the takeaways for me has been that as a country, we really need to set up a roadmap and put the milestones in terms of where we want to be in the short term as well as in the long term. So as a country, there are certain things that I am hoping that as a country will be able to emulate. I had the pleasure of meeting with the Minister of Sports in Morocco and the Minister of Youth and Culture as well, we are discussing on working on a memorandum of understanding to enable a learning environment for Malawi to be able to visit Morocco and learn, so the Moroccans can also come here and appreciate the same. So I am hoping that my trip there will actually open more opportunities and more doors for the sports sector in Malawi.
Were there moments of wishing, I wish the Flames were here too?
Oh yes, through and through and through. I would really love to see our Flames go that far. You know, I was there envying the Moroccans and the Senegalese for having gone that far. We sat in the stadium with them, some Moroccans, some Senegalese. We all we sat next to each other, and I envied them. You know, I really wished that was a moment for me that I really wished Flames was on the pitch. And as a minister, I would do anything we can actually as a country to make sure that we give the necessary support that these teams needs, that they require, to ensure that they not only participate in these international games, but that our participation actually brings us success and brings us proud. So it's not only about us as a country being able to participate in these tournaments, it's really about us bringing the trophy home.
Bring the trophy home. I love that line. We have a chance, in fact, to bring a trophy home because our women's team has qualified for the first ever WAFCON. They'll be in Morocco for the women's tournament. Is the ministry taking in extra gears in ensuring that the women's team is well supported to perform at that level?
Exactly, yes. It's quite historic and quite exciting for us that our women have been able now to qualify for the first time. We want to give them all the support they need before the actual tournament. We want to hype. So we are in touch with Football Association of Malawi as well as Malawi Sports Council to see how best as a ministry we can come in to support. We want their welfare looked into because we don't want them to be mistreated. We want their mind to be at ease while they are out on the pitch playing, because their welfare also affects how they deliver, how they play on the field. So we want to make sure that all their needs have been looked into. We are very ready as a ministry to assist in terms of mobilizing resources to ensure that all their needs are met. So we are working hand in hand with FAM as well as the council. Just last week we had an engagement meeting with them to just follow up on our state of preparedness as a country. We are hoping that before they go, we'll actually have given them enough hype. We want them to see that they've made everybody proud, and that we are not only looking forward to them to participate, we expect them to actually bring the cup home. So we're very excited. It's something that we're following closely and with keen interest as a ministry, and we'll ensure that all the support that they need, they get.
Well, part of the support is going to include Wa Ganyu being in Morocco to be confirming with Car and Co. When our team is winning. What are the three things that you are sitting and thinking, I think by the end of the year, we'll be discussing with Wa Ganyu that we have these three milestones? So
the first, as I mentioned, is the sports policy. We have a very, very old sports policy that as a country I feel we need to review. So we have already started processes to ensure that the sports policy is reviewed, and I assure you 1 year from now we would have reviewed our sports policy to also ensure that all the stakeholders are aligning themselves with the new sports policy. There's been a lot of development that have happened in the sports sector that are not included in the old sports policy, which is why we feel it is very, very pertinent that we review and ensure that we have brought on board issues of safeguarding in sports, issues of growing the women participation in sports. We want all of those, and including the issue that I mentioned earlier about bringing on board private partners to support the management of our sports facilities. So we expect all of those issues to go into the new sports policy that we are already beginning to review. So the sports policy for me as minister is the first. The second is the completion now of the sporting facilities. You realize that we have certain segments within the country that do not have enough sporting facilities. The northern region, for instance. So that is one of the areas that we really want to improve, and we are we're fighting tooth and nail to ensure that we really complete these facilities to enable our athletes have access to them to increase, their spaces for practice and whatnot. The other thing that I really want to see improve in 1 year is the involvement of women in sports.
Yeah.
We want to see, I personally want to see a lot of women coming to take part in different sports codes. So we want to grow women's participation in sports. You have seen how, sorry to say this, that our Scorchers is doing better than the Flames.
Yeah.
So that is the direction that we want to take. We want to leverage we want to level the ground to ensure that both men and women, regardless of gender, have equal access to participate in various sports codes. What matters, what we want to look at is how we start. So already we are in discussions, we are holding discussions with the Ministry of Education. We want to reintroduce physical education in primary schools. We want our students actually to begin training from a very tender age. So from an age as young as 6, 7, we've already started training this particular kid in physical education. We want to train them how to move, how they can balance on smaller surfaces, balancing on big surfaces, how to move in the air, how to fall even so that they don't break their bones. Because it is that education that will actually determine that we have more skilled, more professional athletes. So we want to start from a young age so that we move with the athletes from a young age and we follow them as they grow. So by the time we are signing that particular athlete, we've been with the athlete for quite some time and their level of skill is quite advanced. We believe that is actually what will help us as a country to sign more players. We want to also, as a country, be able to look at individual players, not only as a team. So sometimes working with teams can be quite expensive because if, for instance, you want to move a whole team to Morocco, you're talking of 60 plus participants. But sometimes we have certain sports codes where players work alone, as individuals. So that's also one area that we want to look at to ensure that by the end of the day, we are signing more players for Malawi and we have more participation and visibility on the international platform for sports.
The monies that go to West African academies, stealing players to Europe, it's huge sums of money.
That's right. It's huge sums of money, yes. But if as a country we can begin to prioritize, we can also get there.
Exactly.
Because I will give you this example that perhaps as a country we've not done very well in terms of giving prominence, giving sports the prominence that it deserves. So we get to think of sports as a recreation activity for luxury.
Not as a profession.
No, not as a profession, not as an economic activity, but it is. I will tell you this, that the money that Leonardo gets paid every day, every week, no president in any country has ever made that much. So it is a career because not every student is sharp in the head, but there are other skills that they can pursue that they're really excellent at. And sports is one of those skills. So I will tell you this, that in Malawi, you can walk into a bookshop, pretty much any bookshop. You'll find a lot of text on biology, on religious studies, on physics, on mathematics, on everything. I challenge you that you'll not find one textbook on sport.
Very true.
That's how bad our situation is. So even parents, when their children begin to sport, they're like, no. You see now, so they want the students to just strictly focus on education. But sport is a whole career as well. It creates opportunities for people, not only the athletes, because behind every athlete is a coach, who has gotten employed, is a referee, is a physician.
Exactly.
So when you talk about job creation, sports is also one of the fields that as a nation we need to begin looking at to see and appreciate that sports generates money. I'm always challenging people that when it comes to issues of tourism in Malawi, I can bet that over 50% of the tourists that come to Malawi come here for sports reasons, because they wanted, the football teams, they wanted to play games, they're doing this and that. So it is a whole industry which, when explored, which if we nurture it and invest in it, the returns are huge.
On every match day, if Silva is playing with they just from the gate revenue, security gets their money, farm also gets their card, Solomon, the rest, but Sports Council also gets a 5%. And teams have been saying, but giving something to the FA and sports, it's like we're giving the government a bit more. So there's that request by teams to say, maybe can Sports Council relinquish this 5% to help some of our local teams? Is something that you've heard already?
Actually, it is something that I have heard. I will be honest with you, but formally it has not yet arrived on my entry. What we are doing at the moment, though, while we wait, assuming it will come. So while we wait for it to come to the entry, I have been talking to a lot of stakeholders on the same issue informally, I must say. And it's quite interesting, the schools of thought that are coming out of that request, because some schools of thought are of the view that indeed the clubs should get the 5% that Sports Council gets. However, some are actually preferring that 5% goes towards management of those sports facilities, because our sports facilities are in quite a bad shape, and as government we do not allocate enough to those facilities to keep them, up to date, to be able to meet the maintenance standards. And that does make sense as well. So listening to both conversation, you will see that they both have a lot of sense in it. What we will do as a ministry when the issue comes to our office is that we will again do consultations with the stakeholders. We invite the clubs themselves, the associations, the council, to come and have a round table discussion to see how best we can approach the issue. So we'll do consultations. At the moment, informally, we're just trying to listen to the several voices that are coming from the public out there. But when the time comes, we'll continue with the consultations and agree on how best to approach the issue.
You were born in Blantyre. Which stadium did you first visit in Malawi?
So the first one, I was just born in Blantyre. I think we left Blantyre when I was maybe 2-3 years old, because
you don't know the Blantyre Derby.
I don't know the Blantyre Derby. I've had the privilege of to watch one of the games, but the first stadium.
You've watched Blitz and Wanderers?
Oh yes, I have several times.
Oh my God.
But the first
stadium
visit, yes, that I have had was Civil Stadium. It was during Independence Day. I think I was in grade 5 at the time, and actually Wanderers played Bullets that particular day. It's been some time, but I quite recall how interesting it was to be in the stadium.
That's great.
Yeah, so Civil Stadium was the first for me, and it was during an Independence Day celebration.
Do you know any local players in Malawi?
Oh,
Odd, even of odd.
Even of old. Oh yes. My favorite growing up has been Anong.
German. Shout out to German. Okay.
Yes. So he's the one that I related with. I think the most. I think mostly because I had a friend already. The person that I grew up with, quite my best friend, and they had similar features. She's a lady, yes, but looked almost the same. She was also into women's football at the time. We played for a small upcoming women's football club that was in our area at the time. She was more into sports. I was more into netball at the time, but we nicknamed her Anonga because of the features that they had.
I mean, you played netball.
Oh, yes.
Is that your favorite sport?
Not exactly, because I think that was really from quite a young age. Growing up, I engaged in several sports codes as well. Football. I did football at some point, for your information, and then I moved to volleyball. So it's been here and there for me.
So you have a whole-rounded understanding of the disciplines.
Exactly, yes. And now what I would really want us to promote as well is also the indigenous games. The indigenous games, Bao.
Yeah.
There's several games that are really very, very traditional that I feel as a country we are losing out on, and as a ministry I would really love to see those. So even biking, for instance, is one of the sports codes that I think if we were to pursue and promote as a country would really do very well, particularly because even when they're not participating in sport, we have a lot of bikers in the country because it's a business, for the Kabaza people. Those people cycle on an everyday basis. Literally, they use cycling as an economic activity. They make money from it. I feel if we were to promote that sports code, the cycling, and we don't even import these,
these fancy bikes.
No, those. We let them,
the hunters.
Yes, they're hunters and they're whatnot. We let them use those very bikes to compete and just promote it. I think it would be really interesting. So as a minister, I hope we can also be able to promote such indigenous sports codes that I feel as a country we are missing out on. There's several that we can do, including the bao and several other games that were played in the villages.
I think up north, was it a year or so ago, they started like the actual bikers, through the hills.
Exactly,
and,
yes.
So, I mean, there's also, I'm even thinking, I mean, if we would have such a flagship event and we promote, those planes, the Nika views and all of that, we can get in tourists to come through.
We really can do that. Imagine how interesting, and imagine the pool of players that would have if we just to invite for the first time all the Kabaza people to just come and compete in a cycling event. I think it would be really nice. It would be huge because we have the Kabaza people from Sanje to Chitipa. In every district we have them. So in terms of scouting for talent, I think it would be very, very easy to do that, and I think that's something that we can really as a country capitalize on.
Do you watch international football?
Oh yes, I do, and please don't ask me what my team is.
I'm sorry. Is that because of Sunday? Last Sunday?
Oh no. No, please don't draw me into that. Yeah, but no, I do follow international football, but because I don't want to disappoint the Chelsea, the Man U fans, I will not say what my team is, but no, we are together in the industry because you understand that there's also a lot that we learn from the international footballs in terms of the quality of players, management as well, welfare of players. There's several things that you learn from just being part of the international football alone. And what do they say about no man being an island? We can't do things alone, so we also watch and learn from our colleagues on the international platform.
How can these people watching us, how can Malawians, young people, how best can they step up to support you so you can also best support them with the policy changes that want to be made?
So for me at the moment we are doing a lot of listening because as I said, when I was appointed minister, I joined an existing community that was already there and listened to what we've been doing is to sit down with these stakeholders and see how best they think we can move forward. I know there's been a lot of stalling on issues of sports management, but we want to sit down on a round table and just be able to hear from everyone how what their views are on certain issues. But my appointment, I feel, comes as an advantage because sometimes I will say this, that sports can be a little political sometimes. So
it is more than politics.
Oh yes, it is. So considering that I'm not exactly coming from a sports background, I came on a clean slate. You'll understand. So I am able to work with anyone because there's no bad blood, no history between us. So I'm able to I'm a neutral person. I'm indifferent, and I